With the 2024 to 2025 season of the NHL in full flow, the fans of the Montreal Canadiens are quite enthusiastic, and for all the right reasons. The emergence of Lane Hutson has been a welcome revelation for the team. Although the young, electrifying defenseman was picked 62nd overall in the 2022 NHL Draft, his road to the roster wasn't straightforward, but it would appear now that he is there, he could very well prove to be a game changer in Montreal, just like PK Subban once was. So before I get into the details of Hutson's impact and his comparisons to PK Subban, I'd like to ask for a small favor. If you enjoy this content, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It doesn't cost you anything, but it helps us tremendously. Thank you in advance. Now, let me get back to Hutson and his road to becoming the latest sensation of the Montreal Canadiens. So, when Lane Hutson was picked by the Canadiens in round 2 of the 2022 draft, many assumed his size would be his greatest undoing. At 5 feet 8 inches and 150 pounds, the doubts at the time as to whether he could play in the NHL weren't outlandish. More often than not, NHL scouts and GMS shy away from smaller-sized defensemen because of the physical grind of the league, but his skill set could not be ignored, so the Canadiens took a chance on the undersized defenseman. Fast forward to 2024, and Hutson has silenced the doubters with style. After remaining in college to develop his game, Hutson made his NHL debut this season with the Canadiens, and his impact was instantaneous. His skating, puck handling, and offensive instincts are already starting to turn heads. Through his first few games, he managed to rack up multiple assists, always looking dangerous every time he had the puck on his stick. But what's uniquely great about Hutson, though, isn't just the offensive talent, it's his ability to get control of the pace of the game, a trait shared by few at any level, similar to how PK Subban used to be during his prime. You just can't help but think of one of the most beloved former Canadiens when talking about Lane Hutson. In 2010, when PK Subban broke into the league, he took fans everywhere by storm with his style of play, bold and exciting. Much like Hutson does today, Subban was a carry-the-puck end-to-end type player who created offensive chances and controlled the game from the blue line. PK Subban was a revelation for the Canadiens in 2010. He proved he was not just a defenseman who could only shut down opposing players, but one who could change the dynamic of a game with one rush up the ice. And identical to PK Subban, Hutson has shown an identical knack to be a playmaker, as he's always looking to create offensive chances with his elite vision and passing. Both Subban and Hutson possess a special ability of being able to move the puck in ways very few defensemen can. Subban loved the limelight, as he loved making highlight reel plays that kept fans wowed. Already, Hutson is already showing that same flair this early into his career. It might be a perfectly placed stretch pass or a rush that he takes deep into the attacking zone, but you just have that feeling that something big is going to happen when Hutson has the puck. But the more exciting elements of Hutson's game would be how seamlessly he has woven his way into the Canadiens' offense. In many ways, he's following on the path that Subban established himself as a key driver of offensive play from the blue line. Subban in particular boasted a booming slap shot and was great at quarterbacking a power play, many times leading the Canadiens in scoring from the blue line. While Hutson doesn't possess the same booming shot that Subban had, his offensive contributions come in the form of his high hockey IQ and playmaking ability. Already showing he can find seams and set up his teammates with precision passes, he has become quite useful on the Canadiens' power play. Players like Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, and Juraj Slavkovsky already see the benefits of having Hutson around, as their point totals have started to rise simply because of his elite puck distribution. In one of the more memorable games early in the season, he made a beautiful tape-to-tape pass from the defensive zone that set up a breakaway goal. Plays like this will be a common affair with Hutson in the lineup, as he instinctively reads the game and makes plays that very few players his age can. It's this offensive creativity that draws the most direct comparison to Subban, who built a reputation on being able to create something from essentially nothing. Although the Subban comparison certainly holds due to stylistic and offensive influence, Hutson is, in fact, a very modern type defenseman himself. Times change in the NHL, with Hutson's game reflecting that switch. Whereas Subban was much more about power and physicality with some infamous bone-crushing hits at times, Hutson's game stands on speed, agility, and precision. Skating skating is one of the biggest assets in Hutson's toolkit. He can change direction on a dime, making him hard to pin down in an offensive zone. In some instances, his agility allows him to dance along the blue line, opening up shooting lanes and keeping defenders guessing. One of the few knocks on Hutson's game to this point has been a tendency to pivot early while defending rushes, which leaves him susceptible to skilled forwards who can exploit that space. But with more experience and further honing his defensive game, there's little doubt that he'll clean this up. One of the real separators in Hutson's game is his active stick. Despite his average size, Hutson is very good at breaking up plays and using his stick to disrupt passing lanes. His defensive game remains a work in progress, but has already shown a lot of promise. He reads the play well and can anticipate where the puck is going, often allowing him to make up for his lack of size, and he's already proven himself capable of defending against bigger, stronger forwards. But the inevitable question in the minds of Canadiens fans is whether Lane Hutson can one day become what PK Subban was during his time here in Montreal. He won the Norris Trophy as the NHL's best defenseman in 2013, was an absolute fan favorite, and left behind a one-of-a-kind legacy as one of the most dynamic players ever to don the jersey. That certainly puts Hutson in a position to follow in the footsteps of Subban, but the journey to NHL stardom never goes as easy as planned. Possibly the biggest challenge awaiting Hutson in proving his smallness won't be an overall limitation. The physical wear and tear of an 82-game NHL season is not something to be trifled with, and although Hutson's offensive game is already of NHL caliber, his body's ability to take the grind against the world's best is one area that will be tested as he continues to develop. But based on what he has done thus far, the initial expectation from Hutson is anything but a letdown. His confidence with the puck, combined with his work ethic and devotion to improving his defensive play, suggests he can succeed at any level of the game. Much like Subban, Hutson seems to be the type of player who rises to the occasion when under pressure. In a franchise like Montreal, where expectations are always through the roof, the ability of Hutson to handle the spotlight will be an important factor. If he can continue developing and refining his game, there's no reason he can't become the next great Canadiens defenseman to carry the torch Subban lit all those years ago. Although Hutson is just beginning his career, his addition to the team's roster could have huge implications for the Canadiens' playoff hopes. The Canadiens have been in rebuild mode for several years, but with youngsters such as Hutson, Suzuki, and Caulfield leading the pack, the future certainly seems much brighter than it has been for a long time. Coupled with the fact that he can drive plays from the back end and add to offensive output, he may just be what the doctor ordered to get the Canadiens back into playoff contention. Like the emergence of Subban helped make Montreal a perennial contender during his time with the team, the presence of Hutson on the blue line could bring on a similar effect. Of course, tempering of expectations is in order. After all, Hutson is a rookie and there will be growing pains along the way, no question. Skill-wise though, he brings in something that hasn't been seen in Montreal in a long time. A defenseman who can take over games, control the pace, and make teammates better. Lane Hutson's rise to prominence with the Montreal Canadiens has been nothing short of spectacular. In many ways, he embodies the same excitement and potential that PK Subban once brought to the team. While it's still early in his career, Hutson has already shown that he has the tools to become a star in the NHL, and his impact on the Canadiens has been immediate. As the 2024 to 2025 season unfolds, all eyes will be on Hutson to see if he can continue to build on his early success and help lead the Canadiens back to the playoffs. One thing is for sure, Montreal fans are in for an exciting ride with Lane Hutson, a player who, much like PK Subban before him, has the ability to change the game every time he steps on the ice. So, what do you think? Will Lane Hutson live up to the hype? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more updates on the Canadiens' journey this season.